So welcome everyone, Monday night again. Sorry for the late email. I again lost track of the day. But in writing that email, there was for those that got it, there is a component here that I definitely wanted to talk about because I don't know about you guys, but I lived in fight or flight. Like that adrenaline, that feeling was like it was like almost like a drug for me. So fast forward to before my patching. Um, I was at that time a stay-at-home mom. My boys were 5 and 7. Um, my oldest, if you guys aren't aware, is on the spectrum. He is very high functioning, but he's very fast. So he is always 12 steps ahead of me. Even on my best days, he's still 3 steps ahead of me. So he's like having 3 kids in one because he's just so fast. Like by the time I turn around to set something up, he's already moved on to 2 other things. And now I got to clean up the messes from there. So it was like this constant just whirlwind. Um, and my husband had been in a work injury. So he was home a lot and he was looming his second surgery. So all of this was going on in my normal everyday life. And then I hurt my knee. And it went from me doing everything, being the caregiver, feeding everyone, to me not being able to walk. And that was a real eye opener for me. Wow, I do need to take care of myself because if something were to happen to me, what's going to happen to everybody else? So I slightly slowed down a little bit with that, but I was kind of forced to because of my knee. I went through the gambit with it. I tried to do physical therapy. I couldn't even pedal a bicycle. That was what they wanted me to do for a warm up. I go in, I sit on the bike, and I'm like, oh, well, I can do it one-legged, but I can't do it with my right knee. I could not pedal the bike. So I thought, all right, well, we'll try some other things. Well, it got to the point where it was just too painful. And so they kind of sent me on my way. And the orthopedic said, well, you're too young for knee surgery. We don't know what's wrong with you. You can do stem cell injections, and they're thousands of dollars not covered by insurance. And I'm like, I can't even comprehend what you're saying right now. Like, no. 2 months later, I just those last 2 months, I don't even know what happened in those 2 months, quite honestly, looking back. It was pure survival mode for me. And it wasn't the good kind. It wasn't like, oh, I've got a deadline. Oh, I've got something to look forward to. I've got a reward at the end of this stressful time. It was just survival. And so my husband, looming on his second surgery, we had gone on vacation. And my sister-in-law comes up. She goes, Kate, I found this patch. It tells your body to elevate stem cells, make stem cells. And I was like, don't tell me anything else because I don't I don't want to know. I don't want to have anything in my head about what they might do. I was clueless, literally clueless going into this. So here I am. I put a patch on, and I had the best day. I had to look back. Looking back, I had the best day on the beach with my boys. I was boogie boarding. I was building sandcastles. I was up and down. It was awesome, glorious day. Woke up the next morning in pain because I had used all these muscles that I hadn't used in a while. Not my knee, but I had used all these muscles I hadn't used in a while. I was like, huh. I ran back down to her. I'm like, can I try another one? She put it on me. By day 3, I just went down with my credit card and I was like, whatever. Take my money. Take my money. I want patches. So I went in it completely blind. I knew nothing about it. I didn't even know it was frequency healing. I barely knew it was phototherapy. So I want to say I was probably 3 months in, and I was like, it was a different feeling. It was it was like a peaceful feeling. That was really kind of the start. I had just come off a gratitude challenge, the one Michelle that Jill's that Shill's doing right now. It was this one I did before, and I had just come off the gratitude challenge, and I'm like, this is different. It was a peaceful feeling that I'm not used to, and it was just kind of a calm in the body. So looking back, that was the fight or flight I was in, and I had no idea I was in it. I was literally ripped out of it. So what does that mean, right? What do I mean when I say that? Is that these patches, they are frequency healing, and they are elevating the frequency of us on a cellular level. head to toe. And so when we're vibrating at that frequency, there are things in our body that can't live in that frequency. And I was on a thread recently and people are saying, does anyone have any emotional problems when they put the patches on? And it's like, well, I mean, they are called trapped emotions for a reason. So these trapped emotions can be in your body with this frequency, with you elevating the frequency. Those lower vibration feelings can't live in this environment anymore and they need to get out. And they come to the surface. And oftentimes people don't understand. And I'm not saying that you're supposed to, but I want you to be aware of it if it happens, right? That you've got this overwhelming feeling of, I'll use an example of someone that I know that it happened to, an overwhelming feeling of abandonment that had happened decades prior and didn't even know that it was a thing. Like didn't wasn't even aware that it was an issue in her body. And the vibration of these patches brought that to light. And she was like, wow. And it was really fortunate that we were all in a space like this where she was able to come on and talk to us and explain what was going on. And we were able to tell her that that was a trapped emotion that was coming to light and just needed to be let go. You know, it's not that you have to do anything to it or for it. It just doesn't want to be in the body. It can't be in the body anymore. It can't live. That low vibration feeling, trapped emotion cannot live in the body like that when we're elevating our frequency up so high. And so this is a whole component about this, the pulling from the fight or flight when you don't even know it, your vibration is raised, these trapped emotions that are coming in, like there is an emotional component to patching. Do I say this in a way that I want to scare someone from patching? Absolutely not. Like, I don't want you not to patch because you're scared of something that might come up. I think that's silly because of all the other benefits that you get from it. I just want you to be aware that if you, for some reason, get that overwhelming urge of I don't even know because I've really worked on my trapped emotions and trying to bring them out. So mine just haven't, slipped out. But if you have one that slips out, I don't know if any one of you on the call has or not experienced that with the patches yet, and you wanted to speak to that experience of it, please feel free.
I have not, but what I can say is it's actually a beautiful side benefit of these patches, because a lot of times we're not aware of those stuck emotions, right? And so when you start feeling them, it's really, you want to look at it with gratitude to say, hey, not only are these patches doing what they were meant to do, but they're also, the side benefit is it's also helping us push through those emotions and get rid of them. So I think that, instead of being afraid of it, we should bring it on and embrace it and give it gratitude, right? And say that this is actually a beautiful thing. And then those trapped emotions are going to allow us to heal if it's pain or whatever it is, right? Emotional pain. Pain is emotion and physical. So, and spiritual. So it's all of those.
Mhm.
So yeah, Kate, great that you brought all this up.
Well, I mean, it's a part of the patches that people just don't talk about. They're
Yeah.
like,
I mean, it's not advertised, right? It's
no, it's
not, so
not
that's why,
advertising, and
right?
I don't think it ever would be. I don't think there's a study on it, but
No.
I just happened to join this one group that it says like stem cell something, and they have a chat in it, and my phone goes off every now and again, and like some people that are asking questions in there don't even know that there's more than X39. And I'm not about to like spend my time like explaining this because this is not my group. This is not my, these are not my people. This was just a chat that I stumbled across. But, with that, I wanted, they had some good questions that came up in there. Right. And one of them was the emotional part of it. And so I wanted to speak to that tonight because I think that that is a very important component.
I think I could attest to that when I first started the patches. Kate, you remember I was feeling unmotivated, sluggish,
Mm-hmm.
like even in terms of my mood was off. And then I tried the detox. And that literally detoxed me because I felt like I was in a better mood. Even my friend was like, "What are you on?" She goes, "You're so calm right now." I'm like, "I feel amazing." Like whatever bothered me prior to the patches, like didn't even matter. And so, and I didn't even take X39.
Mhm.
X39 was a part of it. So I wasn't even building additional stem cells. I was just, I guess, getting my body back to what it was supposed to do in different areas all simultaneously. And I think that was the boost that I told you I was needing, Kate, that I got. And it definitely improved my mood whatsoever. Nothing bothered me. I noticed a difference. So that also made me happier as well. Like that gratitude component to it. Like, wow, this is really working. Like, I can feel good now and I can trust in this process. So yeah, I could totally attest to that.
Mhm. That's great. Yeah, I remember on the working on the Zoom or whatever with you, and you're like, I need a shift, and I'm like, oh,
Change. Yeah.
we've got the detox, like, and it was right when we had first started really talking about it, Mo, and we had kind of developed it, and so that's where I met Michelle, and so I think that
Yeah, and Michelle, I think actually also one of the reasons why that happened is because with that detox, we were using the energy enhancers. And that
Yeah.
also helps, open up all the energetic pathways in the body. So,
And the Eon too, like
yeah.
that felt like a static shock. Like I have to get that again. I ran out of that. I want to try X39. Still haven't done that yet. So there's a lot that I want to like, get on again. But I will admit, like I haven't really been patching as much. I don't know. Since my trip, I still feel okay. I have changed a few things. Kate, remember in the retreat, Sheil had that machine that got rid of the toxins from our feet. So supposedly the color of water that changes depends on the type of toxins your body's been like inheriting. And mine was had a lot of heavy metals. So after my trip, I got rid of all my pots and pans that were non-stick. So, sauteing and using your utensils, you scrape the bottom and you are ingesting them. Switched it all to silver. And my water, I got a Brita container. So now when I cook, I use just that water. So I'm wondering if it's between the cooking tools that we use and the water that we are cooking with also affects our mood too. So I figured I'd put that out there because I've been also okay too, but I still want to get into patching. But yeah,
it's gonna be a whole life thing, right? So
yeah.
it's we are attacked every single avenue with toxins, whether it be the product that you use, your face cleanser, your hand soap. Oh, I got a good one from today. Hand sanitizer. My husband's at the doctor today, and he was looking at their hand sanitizer and grabbed it, pulled it over, was reading. The lady's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, there's dye in your hand sanitizer. Crazy. Yellow number 40. Like that's the one that causes kids to like be ADHD. And he puts it back down and she's like, what? And like grabs it out of his hand. She's like, what? Are you kidding me? Like they didn't even know that there was dye in their hand sanitizer, which doesn't need to have, it's alcohol. It doesn't need to have dye in it. Anyway, so she goes to check her one that she carries in her bag or whatever, and that had dye in it too. She's like, "This is crazy. I'm calling management. This we do not need dye." And like it was a thing, right? So from every angle, right? Unless you know and you're turning things over and reading the labels of things, you learned about the pans, you were able to get them out of your life. I had high metals too. I have all cast iron pans. I did not know that you shouldn't solely cook with cast iron pans. So I've given blood to try to get some of the iron out of my blood, which is high.
Mhm.
And I've switched to stainless steel or whatever,
Yeah.
silver,
Yeah,
whatever my.
stainless steel. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I did too. I noticed an improvement already. Just the little things that we do. Also, they say supposedly the Kraft mac and cheese, the yellow dye that's in there too, they said also was causing ADHD in kids too, or could have been a component. But to get back into the patches, every time I felt like I was getting sick, I would put I can never say that, the glutathione.
Uh-huh.
Is that how you say it? That one, I would put it on, and then it's like the sniffles, whatever I got, moment like a few hours later, it's like I forgot I even felt anything. So that's been my defense mechanism,
Nice.
this change in season. So
Very nice.
yeah.
Very nice. Amy, how you doing over there? Roger walked by, but I think he said hi, but I couldn't
Yeah,
tell
he
the trees.
popped in real fast and then I got to move aside so I'm not there.
Yeah, so he can pop in. Yeah.
And he can look, here he is. He's going to do it now. Hi. He
You're welcome
Amy,
amuses.
over there.
Amy, I love your background. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I don't like what it does to, my
I
shape or
know, but it's like
whatever,
you're in the
but
middle of the woods. It's so
yeah,
beautiful.
trees are my buddies, they're
Uh-huh.
my pals. I like them.
How you doing over there? Any updates?
Who, me? Still?
Hey.
Oh, um, not really.
Okay.
Um, Although as you're talking about the emotion thing, like everybody is so individual that you cannot begin to say what any modality of any sort is going to do to somebody. And I can say that when I first started patching, I was going through a crap ton of family drama that still, if I think of it, it still causes me a great deal of pain because it's just been that bad for 2 years. And at one point, I had a lot of impact when I first started the first couple, 3 weeks when I started patching. And I remember being like kind of furious about my sister and being like, meh, oh well, whatever. And I was like, boy, that was really nice because I didn't get so, wildly emotional about it. Now, it kind of fades with anything. This is my personal experience. Anything that you ever try, when you first start it, there's this great big noticeable thing. And then what happens is your body accommodates this change. And then you don't notice it anymore. It's kind of like when you hurt yourself, you have a limp for a while, and then gradually you start to walk okay, and you forget that you even had the limp, you had the pain at all, because your body just attunes to whatever that dynamic situation is that you're in. And so I don't know. That's all I got. I kind of like done.
No, you know what, Amy? That is brilliant because that is really how this technology works. Some people get a response initially and then maybe it tapers off and they think, it's not working anymore. Or some people don't notice it at all until someone has to say, hey, point it out to them. And the subtleness of it, and actually knowing that that's just naturally how the brain works, right? The brain will automatically just switch gears. So if you're not in pain anymore, it's not signaling that you're in pain. So you go on about your life and you forget about it until you're reminded of it, some way. And I think that's a really good reminder for all of us to just remember that it's just kind of, I think Bhavani talks about, healing is just not a straight line, and so you will probably go through periods where maybe you plateau a little bit. And then maybe there's that retracing that occurs that might trigger maybe something that you notice, whether it's good or bad. Sometimes it's a little bit of soreness, but that's all good. That's part of the healing process.
Good points.
Thank you for the reminder.
Yes. Linda, we kind of started out talking about the emotional component of these patches.
Oh,
Our frequency and how it's elevated, and these lower vibrational emotions just can't live in our body anymore. And have you ever had an experience like that, an emotional, like a trapped emotion or something that might have come up that you may or may not have expected or understood what the technology was doing for you?
well, it wasn't the patch that triggered it. It was more of a massage. So I understand the concept of that
Yep.
release,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where we hold those memories of how our body responds when that happens. So that's the part that taught me that. But what I will say overall is, Amy, I went through, some really terrible family stuff, and it's still lurking in the background, but it doesn't affect me anymore because I have learned to accept it, if you will. It's like, it's not me. When you can understand that it's not you, and I was just reacting to that energy and I was not understanding that it wasn't mine. I think the patches kind of help balance all of that out for you. But I will share, which is why I can't wait till we get Nirvana back. I had a dog trial this weekend and I ran both my dogs, and I don't like competing. I really don't. And so I put on a Nirvana on me and I put it behind my right ear because I thought, well, that's probably a good place for it, right? My dogs performed so well. I mean, my dogs came home with 3 blue ribbons, 1 third place, all these prizes. And I was like having fun. I was so relaxed. Everyone was commenting on how good I looked out there. And I was like, I need that Nirvana. They need to bring that.
Yeah.
I did
I'm
hear,
gonna start using them.
unfortunately, that they're not going to bring it back.
Seriously?
Yeah,
No
I was
kidding.
I was on our leaders call with Therese Santos on Saturday, and
Oh,
somebody had
no.
mentioned that, and she said they're not bringing it back because we have the water machine.
Oh,
And
that's baloney.
someone else said, well, what does that mean for all the other patches? Like, are they going to
Yeah.
discontinue those too?
Well, but you know how
She
many
said they're
people are
not
going to
gonna.
be able to afford a water machine?
I
Right.
know. I
I
mean,
mean,
that was what she had said.
oh,
So,
that's
and
Oh,
she,
terrible.
she's a elite SPD, and so
I think we
she,
need to start our
Well,
yeah,
she
campaign
would know.
again.
They have those SPD calls with, yeah.
right.
So, well,
yeah, I
that's,
So
hope they're
yeah. So
wrong.
they've been
I
telling us.
agree. Same.
That's
I know.
Yeah,
not
they
right.
told us it was coming out this fall. It
Did
would
they
be
say that at
released, and now
convention?
they're going to
They
rescind
did?
that. I'm like,
I don't know.
oh,
And I don't see how one patch is going to, maybe they're concerned that it won't sell, it won't be a good seller, maybe,
Oh
because
my
it
God, so
didn't.
many
I think that's
people have been
crazy.
up in arms when they
Yeah.
took it away. I mean, forget about, I don't care about those little supplements that came with it. I mean,
No, they didn't really do
no,
anything.
and that's why they pulled the whole thing out. But the Nirvana, that was what I thought one of the best sellers from the people that I had spoken to.
I think it actually works better than the Eon as
Hmm.
far as the benefits, because isn't it compared to morphine?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that kind of compared to that?
Hmm.
So it's
Yep.
yes.
painkiller. So I can understand what they're trying to do is push the water machine. I get that. But from what I'm understanding of what the price point of that water machine is going to be, what about those people that need Nirvana that can't access the potential of
I know,
having
I
water?
know, I know.
That doesn't seem fair to
Agreed.
that part of the market that we'd be missing,
Yep.
um,
I even have a
about-
person, he runs a nonprofit for suicide prevention.
Mm,
And he has been waiting for me because I said, yeah, they have this Nirvana and they're supposed to bring it back. And he's like, I will be all over that to
mm.
try to help these. Um, he has whatever, it's his nonprofit for suicide prevention. And he has counselors that offer free services or discounted services. And he's helping people in the community to get therapy and to have another thing like that is not medicine.
Well,
He is just
Amy, the Eon could be really good for them. He
Mm.
doesn't want to think about it. No?
it's not so I'm super sensitive and I have someone was nice enough to sell me one of her sleeves of Nirvana and I have used it a few times intermittently and I can very much tell the difference between Eon and Nirvana and I can tell you that Nirvana definitely is a mood changer
Mhm.
to help bring you. Eon will help calm that
Right,
system down, but it doesn't do the elevating thing like
right.
Nirvana
No,
does.
because it
It doesn't
increases the
have, it has a
endorphins.
different
Right.
kind of pain relief component to it
Yeah.
than the Eon does. Like even
Well,
David said, all the patches have a pain component.
yeah.
Oh, well, they're going to do what they're going to do.
Well, but
And they are definitely focused on this water machine.
I think, it wouldn't hurt to write letters to get people who really, like, I have several of my people that were really waiting for it to come back. And, if you could just, even it doesn't have to be like a lengthy letter, just like, maybe if they got inundated with, these requests of please, this is an important, like just the fact for that suicide prevention, I mean, that's huge. Right?
It
Think
is.
how many people that reaches, kids and, I don't know, maybe it'll be thought about.
Maybe they're going to reformulate it. I don't know. I mean, it worked fine the way it was. Yeah,
Yep.
I don't know.
know,
Again,
but
that was,
I guess it's
don't shoot
frustrating.
the messenger.
I
I
just think it's frustrating that they keep changing the messaging
what
on
they
that.
say. Agreed. I agree.
Well,
Don't do that.
no.
That's because in this business, well, think of, Teresa's always leaking stuff out, right? We've been
Right.
told she probably shouldn't be leaking things out when she leaks things out.
Hmm.
And of course, what do we all do? We leak it out.
We
because
say it
we're
too, right?
excited. Yeah, we're
Right.
excited.
Right.
So it just creates a bad taste in the mouth for people who are really hoping to have something, and then they keep.
Yeah. Taking it
So,
away. Right.
so this is a great time to mention that tomorrow on the quantum healing team call, Garrett will be there.
Oh,
And so, yeah, you all didn't forget, did you? 7 o'clock tomorrow night, Garrett from corporate will be on the quantum healing team call. If you want to
okay.
participate in that, Michelle, I'll make sure to get you the link because I don't think I sent it out this week in my spiels of whatever. I quick got it out. So if you wanted to bring that to his attention, I think that's a good time. I teamed up with Badra last week before last, and we typed up a whole list of questions that we have about the water machine.
Oh,
And
good.
Sandra was supposed to have forwarded that to Garrett, so he has a heads up on the questions that
Good.
we're going to ask. So we're hoping that the questions that we're going to ask are going to have an answer versus him not realizing what questions we're going to ask and get the answers to. So we were hoping that because we asked them ahead of time, we were more likely to get those answers during our call tomorrow night. So
Yeah,
I plan on asking that about Nirvana. And then I also want to ask, well, if people are going to write a letter, like where do we send the letter?
Who do we send it
To
to?
the
Right.
new
good
corporate
idea.
office. What is that
Yeah,
address?
Right.
So we can have them mail it to it. And I am 100% ready to start the Save Nirvana campaign online. And I will get another landing page out and I will tell them what to do, where to send the letters, and we can all share that on our social medias. And I will drop it in all the corporate business builder pages because
Oh.
this is the kind of thing I like to do.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, I think if anything, it'll bring to their attention what's really important to the consumer. Because,
Right.
it's really when you're really excited about something like this new launch. I mean, really, it's a first to market. I mean, it's huge. It's huge. And I know that there's probably going to be a lot of things they're not going to tell us because David's going to tell us in January at the vision,
Sure.
so there's not going to be a whole lot that he can probably share with us. And I've accepted that, and I'm just building the excitement with, I don't know either, but I do know it's got 20 patents. I do know blah, 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 blah. And, I think that, that's part of the fun of this, right? We're learning as we go. The one thing that I was like, dang, they're giving 30 machines to the top 30 SPDs. There you go again.
Yeah, right.
I hope Sandra gets one and we can all go to her house and try them.
She's already got one.
Huh?
That's right. She's got one because he
No,
gave
she
one.
doesn't. No, she
Oh.
doesn't.
Well,
Oh, she had a
He had a
prototype.
prototype
Yeah,
and they had
that's
to
right.
return it because it quit
Oh.
working. And I'm sure he didn't send it back, but he might be
Mhm.
giving her a machine.
Yep.
Probably.
I
But
did just
because she was talking about how they've been out without this water for weeks now because they had to return it because it quit working.
Oh, that's not good.
That's not good. No.
Yeah,
I just dropped in
so
the
she
chat.
doesn't have it anymore.
I just dropped in the chat the link for that water guide that I finished. I typed up for everyone. It's a PDF that you can share, you can read, you can learn. It doesn't have all the nitty gritty stuff, but I will soon have a blog that is having all of the amino acids and what it looks like when you have deficiencies in those amino acids and all that. So I'm working on that too.
Yeah, I think that's the area we should be focusing on is educating people about health. And then when the water machine comes into play, then you can talk about the benefits of what the water machine can do. So I think it's really a good time for us to learn more about what this is doing so that we can talk better about it when it is launched and people ask those questions. We've got it down pat.
Yep.
Because we've been
And
teaching.
I mean, the big thing is that it does increase the copper peptide. So if you look at like a lot of Patch EDU's information, it's all about the copper peptide. So really get familiar, get down and dirty with what the copper peptide is, what it does, how it works. And the three amino acids within that copper peptide chain, that tripeptide. Alanine, lysine, and glycine. I think those are the three.
You know what came to me when I was, it was just a day or two ago, and it came to me about how I'm going to be talking more about these patches and this water machine. As I started thinking about it, I thought, because I was looking I have some of these bottles of cream, right, from other products I use. And I was looking at my medicine cabinet and I have these things that I was supplements. And I went, peptides, all these things, zinc, things like that, we've been, told that these patches will activate, the body will, they're based on proteins, they're based on all kinds of things. All of that stuff, we've been, before David invented this, we've been putting it on our skin, we've been taking it, and we've been trying to just replace it. We're just trying to replace what we're losing. What we have now is something that doesn't replace it, it regenerates it. It gets your body processing it again. And that's where the age reversal comes in, because you're not replacing anything. It's now your body's taking over and producing it. So to me, that was like, yeah, maybe that's a better way to explain it to people. I don't know. It just kind of was like, we try so hard to try to convince people, right, that this is really the best thing for you, but they always just don't seem to get it. They would rather just do something that's easy. And then I've started just calculating cost with that. So how many supplements are you taking to get all of that? And what is it costing you on a monthly basis to get all of that? When the patch, maybe you only just need to wear one patch that can give you all of that and then some. So I'm really trying to look at it in a different light, to maybe help educate people, because we've been conditioned over these years. We've been so conditioned by the medical world to think that, you got to get a prescription, or you have to follow your doctor's orders, or you have to do all of these things, because they've taken away our ability to make those decisions on our own. And I think that's what we're struggling against, right? We're struggling with those folks that just, they don't get it because it's not from a doctor. We're not doctors.
That's true. And I think there's a component to that. Especially the people that I'm finding, the people that have finally accepted the fact that if they want to take their healthcare into their own hands, it's really being your own advocate and learning everything on your own.
Yes.
But
That's
oftentimes, I hate to say it, much like what I've gone through with my son, is it takes some life thing to happen for them to realize that they can do it themselves, and myself included. I had my injury, my survival mode, my everything, and it wasn't until I don't think I ever would have even talked about that. If anyone other than my sister-in-law had come to me, I would have been like, no. Because before patches, I avoided MLM, right? Like the plague. People would be like, oh, I've got this juice, got this, this does this, that does that. And I'm like, yeah, take it, whatever. And I would specifically take like their link, right? Or whatever it was. And I would go research it and go do somewhere, buy it somewhere else, or do something, you know what I mean? Like, I just wasn't on board with it. And I think a lot of people have their own process with that. So, meeting people where they are with it is a thing. And I do think that I'm ready to make a post and almost calling people out on that, because that's how I used to be. I was really ignorant in the fact that I thought that network marketing was a bunch of mumbo jumbo, when in fact, I'm learning network marketing is the only way they can bring real products to people that are under the radar and not criticized by all of the government everythings.
Well, that's a really big component of it. And I think another component of it that we have to always remember is that if we get too technical in how we talk about these patches, if we get too, you talk about vomiting all over people with too much information, they think, I can't do that. I can't talk like that. I don't know how to talk about these patches. I mean, I think what I'm learning is that we have to show them how simple it is. And that can be as simple as go to this video. That could be as go to this Zoom meeting. That can be as simple as get on a three-way call and let them, and in other words, you're showing, see, you can do that, can't you? You can put on a patch, okay, and you can go to a Zoom call and you can send out a link. In other words, simplify. And so that's what I'm trying to think about. How do I simplify that communication with people? You know, you have to educate them to a certain point. You have to give them the information they're wanting at a certain point. But there also has to be a certain point where they just learn to trust that there's other alternatives out there, and that, you know, they have to be ready. They have to be at that point where they're ready for something to change.
Yeah.
And that's where I think sometimes the relationship building comes into play, because they have to get to know you before they go, okay, you know what? I think I'm ready to try it now. Because at first it sounded really good, and then all of a sudden they start thinking about it. And it's really not an easy, it's not easy. They make it sound like, you know, network marketing is easy. No, it's not.
No,
It's
not.
work.
I'm actually really looking forward to the water. I feel like the water machine is going to
It's going to
be.
change things.
Can
Yeah.
you imagine if we had been in this before X39 had come out?
Oh.
Right? I mean, could you imagine what it would have been like to be there right when their flagship one patch does it all product came out?
I
And the
know.
wave that happened, now unfortunately it was, you know, because of COVID, but still, here we are again. Here, this is the wave. This is the beginning with this water machine. And I don't know if I feel the energy behind it.
Oh, I really do, because
so
there's going to be people that respond to it, right? Especially if we can, I'm already thinking about how I can use it when I go to expos,
oh yeah, 100%.
right? You know, and I'm just thinking this can be a big deal for clinics, for practitioners, for, you know, think of the bigger picture of investment purposes alone, you know, aside from us that want to have one, right? And I can't wait to learn more about the marketing end of it, you know, because we're going to get all the science in January, and we're already getting a lot, but I want to know how they're going to market it and what it's going to cost and all that other stuff, because that's what we have to know.
Yeah. All right. Well, I want to respect everybody's time. We've gone past a half an hour. Does anyone have any other questions or comments? By the way, Michelle, your background is amazing.
Oh, thank
Is
you.
that a tapestry? Is that wall?
Yeah.
It's really pretty. Yeah, I would agree. I'm like, what is that back there? That's really
I
pretty.
know. You think it's a background, but it's really not. It's her behind her. It's really
It's
there.
a curtain. Yeah.
Oh, it's a
Yeah,
curtain?
thank you. Well,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
it's a tapestry per se. I just, nailed it to the wall and just wanted to add some flair into my room. So this
Pretty.
room where I'm sitting is where I do my tarot. So when I do videos online, this is just something I felt would bring a lot of color and a lot of different Zaza Zoom. If I'm not directing it at my table and I'm doing a face-to-face, at least it's something warm and bright in the background.
It's warm and bright, and it's not distracting in a way where you're like, okay, so Mo, what you got back there on your counter?
Yeah, what
it's
do you
not
got
like one of those things.
Way too much.
Refrigerator.
Sorry, when you saw me moving around, I'm roasting vegetables, and I was sitting in my living room and I started smelling something burning. So I'm like, no, I didn't want to disconnect from this, so I had to carry it with me.
No,
So
I was just making a comment because, you see, it's like what Amy's doing. She's right, camouflaging what's in the background there. And I think it's great they've got those virtual things, but it does do weird things. And when you went like this, you totally disappeared off your screen.
Yeah.
it's like you're a shapeshifter
The
there.
disappearing act.
Now
Yeah.
you see her, now you don't.
Yeah.
It's funny. Hey,
All
Kate,
right.
I do have a quick question.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up, and then is it a Zoom call question, or do we want to do it after?
You can do it, whatever.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Bye, everyone.
See
Have a
you
great week.
next week. Email us. Let us know if you have any questions. Drop a comment in the Facebook group. Let us know how you're doing if you're doing the holiday reset, and we will catch up with you all soon.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Hey, Kate,